Welcome, people. Welcome. Let's get it popping.
I can cop the rope, I can pop the coke, better off the hook. No, I'm not a hook, but you don't know. Yeah, I'm just a G, yeah, I'm Baby Joe, now from LA, but I'm trill stepping, down to my brother, down to my brother. I can serve a metal, I can carry metal, carry every metal, bury you with metal. They ain't got it cold. You wonder why he told. You wonder why he fold. Cause they ain't got it cold. They're hating out the box. But I see you don't box. I ain't no scared shit like ox. Nigga, I'm a ox. Quick like a fox. But I ain't even said shit. My girl ordered mozzarella. I'ma get the bread sticks. Nigga, I'm a red nigga. Yeah, I got a red nose. Got me fucked up. I stay by the fucking code. That's that cold shit. That's that cold shit. That's that cold shit. The beat moving. That's that cold shit. That's that cold shit. That's that cold shit. The beat moving.
Yeah. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the show. Man, so got a few topics we're gonna discuss. You know, the usual. Let's get it popping real quick. Hey, first off, let me see y'all comment in the come down here in the comments for me. Trying to check my stuff, you know what I'm saying? See who over here participating. All right, yeah. Man, what a day, yes. What's up, Troy? Hey, whenever you're ready to come backstage, come on through. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Hey, it sound good? Everything cool? Before I get my line cut off with somebody else's music playing. So, hey, welcome to Code Talk. You guys see the caption. We're going to get into it in a few minutes. Hey, what's going on, Portia? Hey, Hollywood, I see you. Troy, what's good? Cass, what's good? Yeah, it's been an awesome day. Got my boy Troy here. I'm going to bring him up right now. Add him to the stream. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
What's this happening, me, brother?
Oh, you got it, man. How you doing?
Hey, outstanding, man. Like, you still sound like you under the bed.
You know, I'm just trying to get there. Trying to get up from up under the bed.
Yo, hey, look, bring you on for sound. It's gonna be good.
Hey, I'm telling you.
Nothing else. Hey, look, man, you had an awesome week, man. You know what I'm saying? So, in preparation of the Super Bowl, man, you know, and being able to dialogue with you and see you down on the field, moving around, you know what I'm saying, and the weeks leading up to it, and the conversations leading up to it, to seeing something like that happen in your backyard, you know, from where you from, that had to be like, you know, I think at this stage in our lives, we have a lot more spiritual understanding about what our value is and stuff like that. And it doesn't come full circle like that for a lot of people. So when it does happen, you know what I'm saying, you get a chance to, you know what I'm saying, actually appreciate the moment and live long enough to see things change. You know what I'm saying? So, So I just want to tell you, man, like, you know, I look up to you like a dad or older uncle. So like seeing you still going out chasing things that you want to do. And being young
man, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and, you know, I've always looked at you as the you know, I think that one of the things with the mistake we make in our communities is we think that all the talent and the intellect and the wisdom exists at the higher levels of age, right?
Right.
And when I look at you and a couple other brothers who are, 10, 15 years younger than me, I see smarter, wiser young men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And partially because you've been able to go into spaces and learn how to do things, make your own mistakes, but also learn from my mistakes or mistakes of people that who are like me for what we didn't do or what we didn't have access to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So I know we plan to link up in person and stuff, man, but at some point I would love for you to give like some of the experiences that you'd like to share from the time that I saw the video montage you put together, and I know you're gonna have something else to still capture the moment.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm processing it now, right? I'll tell you a couple things that just really, stuck out. Is I did at least 14 rehearsals, at least 10 in SoFi. Okay, so that stadium is really translucent. You can hear from the outside. So one thing what they did, so people wouldn't hear the show, they played rock and roll music outside real loud in Inglewood. You know what I'm saying? But another thing that stuck out was, 7 minutes to set the show up, 13 minutes to do the show, and then 7 minutes to break it down. Okay.
Right.
That first half was the shortest first half in the modern Super Bowl era. Normally it's a lot of commercials, it's challenges, it's timeouts. But the first half was only 90 minutes and they thought it was going to be 2 hours. Okay. The issue that caused is every rehearsal we did was at night. The halftime show started before the sun went down. And that's not something that they had counted on. So after seeing the rehearsal that many times, every one of them at night, the show looked different in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Another thing is it took all that time to do the setup and the breakdown. So a rehearsal, they would basically say, okay, go. And they would roll all that stuff out there, the speakers, the buildings, the flooring, do the show, break it down, and then take a 30-minute break and then do it 2 more times. The first time they do it with Snoop and Dre and all of them. The second and third time they would do it with stand-ins. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So by the time it came to do the show, they had probably loaded in and loaded out 50 times.
Yeah.
All right. And so what looked like a 13-minute show, a celebration of these 5 icons, was really something that was ran through every day except for the day before the Super Bowl for like a month. Rehearsals were 2 months. And so just the amount of time and preparation and logistics it went into making sure it worked, that's what impressed me most. And so by the time the show came on, I was just, taking pictures and calling my friends and my family because I am on the 10-yard line in SoFi during the Super Bowl. I'm on the turf. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't even really watch the show when it was happening because I had seen it so many times already. We were on autopilot by that point.
Yeah. That's got to be a good experience, man. Like that's a once in a lifetime experience. Like it really is, because we watched a once in a lifetime event occur with Matthew Stafford winning the Super Bowl because I had a curse on him, and not just him, but any QB named Matt was unlikely to ever win a Super Bowl. Like it's been well documented. You know what I'm saying? So I've been saying it since 2010, 11 or something like that. But finally the Matt curse has been broken. And with that type of performance that's top 3, for a lot of people. The fact that it entered a top conversation, period, regardless of where we are
in the beginning.
Come on, man. We watching evolution, man. We watching, you know what I'm saying, like a stud hip hop, lineup in a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
You got to give a shout out to Jay-Z, man. Jay-Z put this together, right? Yeah. Now, if you think about it, the Super Bowl was a couple of years ago in Atlanta. Last year or a couple of years ago. Yeah. They have any Atlanta artist on there.
No Atlanta artist. That was so disrespectful.
They didn't have JD. They have, all the people, Ludacris. Because when you walk up to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they are playing Welcome to Atlanta by Ludacris.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot, I mean, it's got its own. It's got a song. It says "Welcome to Atlanta." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, come
Right.
on, the audacity of it. But hey, man, I can't think of some stranger that had happened. I think it would have been. I think if SoFi Stadium would have hosted, I don't know, any other rock band that was synonymous with doing business in LA and bringing a major draw, nobody would have batted an eye. But they did the right thing for the culture during
Yeah.
the month. Now, a lot of people, what I'm saying, are still criticizing Jay because they want something. They want a different type of I guess action to take place in the NFL behind his name. But
Well,
like,
let me say something that Jay won't say.
okay, then.
And I'm very measured about my words publicly because I have access to a lot of things that, I shouldn't not have, but just hear. Like, one of the things about being in these spaces is you're just you're seen and not heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is this Super Bowl was produced by a black company, Jesse Collins Entertainment. The event, the Super Bowl halftime show, was produced by a sister.
Yep.
Okay. Now, beyond that, okay, now, so, that's what I call black exceptionalism. Oh, the first black person to do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. 80% of the crew, maybe 85% of the crew were black professionals. Okay. The production, the guy who was over production has been with Snoop and Dre and them since they were in their 20s. And you'll never know his name. Unless you're in the industry, you'll never see him. I'm going to just say his name, Big Curtis. He was running everything, right? And he told my connection 10 years ago, make sure you hire your people.
Mm-hmm.
And so what has effectively happened, we were talking about a high profile job. We're talking about one job. We're talking about Cap, who, if we're going to be honest, I don't know if he really wanted to play football anymore. You can't play that position. There's very few people who could play that position, forever. Mike Vick is out of the league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your body starts to break down unless you have skills like a Breeze or Brady, where your body is not your main weapon. You're going to atrophy and you're not going to be in the league anymore. But the jobs that were created in the economy of Inglewood, California is immeasurable. The fact that I'm there is a testament to what Jay-Z did. I haven't been to 53 other Super Bowls.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact that I'm there and I'm getting a check is a testament to what Sean Carter was talking about.
Yeah.
But we in the black community, we want a big splash. We want symbolism.
Yeah.
But we don't really want true economic power.
No.
And that's what we had. True economic power. Millions of dollars were generated for everybody involved in that thing. Whether it was from, Dre's streaming going up 300%, or Mary's going up 500%, or Troy getting a check, or those dancers. This is the first time in Super Bowl history, and this slid by everybody. Normally the dancers were volunteers. So if you look at that thing, there was a couple hundred dancers there.
Yeah.
Jay fought for them to make sure that they got scale, meaning they got fair Hollywood level pay based on were their principals, were they up on the stage with Snoop and them, were they in the crowd, in the cars, based on where they're at. That had never happened before. So, maybe 300 or 400 jobs were created.
You know what, man? That's a group economics milestone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As far as like being able to demonstrate the economic power that we do have when we start to point it at the right things. And you get flashes of that. You got to have something to build off of to generate momentum. And I think that the imagery of it was a great momentum opportunity,
Yeah.
So
not only that, before we go off of that, let's talk about, and I'm gonna see if I can find this video while I'm talking, but let's talk about the black coaches. We got a league that's 70% black.
Mm-hmm.
We got one coach right now, right?
Yeah.
And I was watching this clip And my son has me watching Hard Knocks.
Okay.
But from 2008, 2009. And it's really good because you get to see what the trajectory of that person's career was. So a lot of times when someone barely makes it or makes it to the practice squad, I'll go Google that player to see if they stuck around, you know, if that was their only year and things of that nature. Okay, so I was looking at one when John Gruden was with the Raiders. Man, I would hope I could find this thing because I could share it.
Man, hey, you know what? While you do that, I'm gonna run a video for my B&B, man. And
there you go. How long is that video?
About a minute and 30-something seconds. You know what I'm
Gotta
saying?
give me time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stall out for you real quick. Hey, folks
Oh.
that y'all tuned in, I'm gonna go ahead and advertise my B&B, and you guys get ready to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? What I got going on over here at Fort Hoods. Hey, look in the description when you get time, and look up Ethernet Staycation. Check out those hashtags, and you know, get ready to book your stay.
Go.
Little jazzy shopping music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm changing that table out.
I like that table, especially for my family size.
Yeah.
It's me and my wife, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I did all the decorating myself too.
Hey, man.
I make sure I say that.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Come on, hang your stuff up.
Get comfortable, unpack, stay for a while.
Mm-hmm. Y'all get it though, you know what I'm saying?
So give me the reason behind the name, Ethernet Staycation. Man, I found the video.
Yeah, cool. So Ethernet Staycation was some terminology that I was using following algorithms of people that were traveling during the pandemic. They were looking for places to work from home and plug right up. So I started, you know, like using keywords that people were searching for. So I have one B&B called the Zoom Suite, I think. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people doing meetings over Zoom. You know what I'm saying? So some of my next ventures, when I get ready to do more peer space oriented, you know, peer-to-peer booking, I'm going to, you know what I'm saying, press that and, you know, use the language that's associated with that too, you know.
Look, man, I that's what I thought it was. I just wanted to make sure because like I've Googled stuff, be like, man, the bottom of my foot hurt, you know, because I don't know the real technical term for it. I'm looking for, you know, what other people are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go back to this NFL coaching thing, right? And so this video, this Hard Knocks is stuck with me. I'm gonna play this 1 minute video. Let's see if he'll let me share.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second.
Shout out to StreamYard, man.
All right. Yeah, so here we go.
They got a hell of a young coach.
Do I need to edit?
Offensive-minded guy.
I got you right here.
I'm here to wreck your ass. I'm just telling. Sean McVay came my last year as the head coach in Tampa. Came from Miami, Ohio. He was a wide receiver. He wanted to get in the NFL. So we made him a secretary, really, just to get him in the building. McVay started like I started with the 49ers. They called me the piss boy. In the Mel Brooks movie, you know, they'd call for the guy to come running over there with the bucket when the guys got off the horse. So we called McVay the piss boy, just to let him know how it felt. And then next thing I know, he's helping coach the wide receivers, and he's coming up with ideas for game plans.
You like football? Sure. Love it. Yeah. You gonna work at it, or you just gonna watch it? You're scratching yourself, watching TV, listening to all the commentary out there. There's a lot of that.
He didn't make any money, and he got to learn.
He got to fast track his coaching career, and I'm really proud of him. What the heck is going on, man? How you doing? Good. You? Good to see you. It's a nice color you got there. Nice color you got. Yeah, I got it. Yep.
So a couple things I want to say about that video. One, that's my son snoring in the background because it was like 5 a.m. That's what time I wake up. That wasn't me breathing heavy. I'm screen recording the video. But we go back to coaching, okay? A couple things. One, Sean McVay came to John Gruden and said, hey, I want to be in the NFL, but he didn't have the talent to be there. So they created a position for him. That's number one. Most people don't know that his grandfather was the architect of San Francisco 49ers run when they were dominant back in the Joe Montana day. So now we talking about relationship. We talking about relationship. My grandfather can call an owner of Tampa Bay to get my non-athletic son in the building, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's number two. Number three, even though he didn't have the talent to play on the field and he didn't need a paycheck, he still put the work in because he really wanted this thing. Okay. So a lot of times we think of nepotism. We think we're going to plug our kid in. That kid doesn't have to perform. So they put him in at the lowest level possible, called him a piss boy. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have to say, look, my grandfather is this. I should be treated more fairly. And then he used that protection of his family name and he matriculated and put himself in position to add value to become a head coach by 31. He just won a Super Bowl at 36. That's still a young man to us. Yeah. Right. And I say now, no, why don't we have a lot of black coaches? Well, your grandfather didn't grow up with the 49ers.
Yeah.
Your father was a player. He wasn't an executive. Right. And so people hire the people they grew up with. This is nepotism. You know what I'm saying? And what we're looking for is legislation. You know the word I'm looking for. We're looking for laws.
We need lawmakers, policy, and all that.
We're looking for fairness, right? Life ain't fair, right? And so what we're asking is 32 or how many teams there are, white billionaire owners, to please hire the person who, hey, my mama might have cleaned your house. Can you hire me? Now, they're going to hire you in certain positions, but who are they going to trust the ship to? Right. Man. And I don't know the answer. Right. I look at black coaches, legendary black coaches like Tony Dungy, Tomlin. And I believe it was based on relationship because a lot of us don't grow up around other black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can't speak to how they grew up, but if Tomlin's been the coach, he's only been the third coach of the Steelers, one of the most storied franchises in the league. And he's only their third coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's some crazy stuff when you
It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, is life fair if a brother like Flores made the playoff and got fired? Lovie Smith did good, got fired. And I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying is we got to stop begging, right? And if that's if you want to do a certain thing, you got to be in a relationship. And I'm gonna say this, then I'll let you dog it. There was a running back whose name I forgot from the University of Texas, and he got 235 yards against Oklahoma in his freshman year. By the time he was a senior, his knees were shot, and I don't even know if he went pro or not. I'm gonna go look his name up. He has dealerships in Texas based on making friends with the alumni, because if you in Texas, you can lose every game you play as long as you beat Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying?
That's
it's like Auburn, Alabama. If Auburn beats Alabama, that quarterback doesn't have to pay for another meal for the rest of his life in Auburn, Alabama.
Man, look, that's a fact. That is a fact. And you know what? You were talking about legislation, and basically that's how that's intertwined with nepotism and high levels, and then our perception of entertainers and athletes having the same type of power based on symbolism. Right. And so I'm gonna add this to the stream real quick because I'm gonna read something from my book that I found. Hey. That's why I looked over. So this is chapter 6 of the book, The Code, and it is a blueprint to solidarity among reasonable Black people.
Yes.
All right. So to add a little context, I wrote this book in 2018, and my take on the entertainer athlete conversation is like this: we put more on entertainers and athletes for social, equity than we do to elected officials that write the laws that box us in. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna read a little section out of this off of page 32 and chapter 6. Say, if there was a law that was in place that enabled corrupt politicians to manipulate the law to their personal benefit based on profession, which person would you choose to change this law? An entertainer, an athlete, a politician, or a lawyer? With this hypothetical scenario, an entertainer or athlete will only have access in the back courts of public opinion, such as social media platforms. Black people condemn and throw away entertainers and athletes for their misrepresentations of Black social interests on a regular basis. I don't blame the entertainers or athletes when they have a flawed moment of social unawareness, because I do not assign value to people who aren't in a position to change anything. Instead, I take that same disappointed energy and point it towards elected officials that are paid with my tax dollars and demand them to be accountable for my vote and represent the interests of the people. It makes far more sense to hold a politician or lawyer accountable for this hypothetical scenario simply based on the nature of placement and access. Placement and access to the issue are two factors that determine how we should utilize the resources available to us. Otherwise, we'll spend a lot of time wasting intellectual resources and arguing about an issue that we don't fully understand.
Right.
Right.
Hey, look, man. There's a reason why in the Black community, the person who was lifted up is the pastor or the entertainer, because the oppressor knows they are powerless.
Yeah.
They know.
Yep.
They're not going and getting, Lee Merritt. They're going to vilify a Lee Merritt.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has the power to really, he understands the law and the process of making a change. Whether he can do it or not is another thing. But a preacher is going to ask you to pray, and an entertainer is going to say, hey, man, we just need to get along.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, look, I want to put a little bit more video context behind what I just read.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play this quick little video clip of me running my mouth about my book last year.
Gotcha.
And, you know what I'm saying? Let it run for a second. That way I can get something to drink.
Gotcha. Hit that full screen.
Yes, sir. I'm on it right now. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm getting in-house coaching production.
It's called the code.
At the bottom on the right, there's another full screen. The bottom.
Deliberate conversation that we've been having, trying to create more unity and structure in Black family households and stuff like that. So it's a good look. I published it in 2018. And I think it's absolutely relevant for what we're doing right now.
On the StreamYard, right below you.
Oh, okay. On the
StreamYard.
Oh, okay. Right here.
There you go.
Boom. Okay. Learning on the fly. Hang on.
Here we go.
I'm gonna back it up.
Okay.
Let it load up a second.
Here's the book. Okay. It's called The Code, and it's the perfect book right now for a lot of the hard and deliberate conversation that we've been having, trying to create more unity and structure in Black family households and stuff like that. So it's a good look. I published it in 2018, and I think it's absolutely relevant for what we're doing right now. But me speaking is also giving more light to the talent that UPC encompasses.
Shout out to UPC.
We have young Black real estate professionals. We have investors all the way across the board. We just heard from a boxer that actually paints. You know what I'm saying? So we have way more opportunity than we do liability right now against us. So in this downtime where everybody's had to pause due to COVID, or for whatever reason they had to take a long, deep reflection and do an introspective look at themselves and figure out what they want to be. Now's the time to figure.
You get the gist of it on that. So we're gonna bypass the technical difficulties or whatever. But bottom line is that we have the talent to be more than what we have been portrayed to be. We're seeing better representations of that every day. We are participating in our own evolution right now.
Yeah.
So,
and going back to the athletes, there have been athletes in the past who were good. Like you look at someone like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who really used his platform to really challenge. Wrote books, produced movies. Him that legendary picture of him with Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown and Bill Russell.
Mhm.
You know, and the grandchild of that is how LeBron James moves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if we just really understood the power we have to, and I think it's almost unreasonable to ask them to boycott in the way that we see it, because there's one league to play football. One,
Yep.
yeah. I'm not counting that Canada stuff. No one wakes up and says, "I want to play ball in Europe or Canada," right? But
Mhm.
this is their dream since they were 7 or 8 years old, and they're only going to be up there for 3 to 4 years at the most.
Right.
And we're asking them to say, "Hey, listen," but we're not coming behind them and supporting them in a way that if they can't play, that we're gonna, bring our tithes and offering to them and make sure we support them, because make no mistake, this is a money play. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So I'm gonna move on right into like our agenda. I think we got enough people showing up, and like last night, well, 2 nights ago, I recorded with my boy on the Uncle Junior Network,
Yeah,
and discussed women in the Wolfpack.
gotcha.
Now, before I play this video, Troy, I want you to give me your interpretation of what a Wolfpack is to you. I know I have my own, and we all have our own definition.
Well, it's a squad. It's the whole squad. And I'm watching a Western called 1883.
Mhm.
And it just is I'm not into Westerns, but this is a very good Western. And it shows you that you couldn't go from Fort Worth to Oklahoma. I mean, I'm sorry, Fort Worth to Oregon, because there was no I-35 or I-20. You
Yeah.
had to really have a full team. And that team included everything from a chuck wagon, someone who
Mhm.
could cook. It had people who were carrying the you don't think, I just came back from Tom Thumb, from the grocery store. Their food was, "Hey man, we need to take 50 cattle with us." You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And
Right.
so the Wolfpack to me is a self-contained unit moving in the same direction, and everyone has their role within it.
Gotcha. Okay. I can respect that completely, simply because, everybody's got a subjective definition, and it's relative to time, mission, whatever it might be. And I say mission because, generally speaking, you get together in a wolf pack when you're trying to complete something, what I'm saying, collectively, right?
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, you're in my wolf pack, I'm in your wolf pack. Like you've seen what Vic was like when he didn't have hair. You know what I'm saying? You saw Vic when he was running running a lawn care service and going to
Yeah.
the bounce houses, and you know what I'm saying? So like I didn't even get a chance to fully be able to appreciate that until like what was that last week when we had that conversation, you know what I'm saying? That kind of led to this moment.
Yeah.
So the other day when we had the Wolfpack video, you know what I'm saying? I thought about like what would it be like when we actually have a conversation, and then Garfield dropped this awesome question that just kind of triggered this moment right here, that on the other platform we're just having a conversation amongst men to mentor younger men, you know what I'm saying, that
Right.
may be watching. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the clip go, you know what I'm saying, up to a certain point, and and I'm just gonna take your assessment of it after that. Let me add it to the stream.
Gotcha.
Let's get it going. Boom.
And segue into the final question of the night. And we are going to start with you. I'm going to pop it on I'm going to let you see it at the bottom first. I ain't even going to read it yet. And wow. Can women be part of your wolf pack?
How would you stop? Oh, man. Oh, the wolf pack is like sharks. And what happens? Women bleed. And what happens when a shark smells blood? What happens when a shark smells blood? What do you think happens?
But Antoine, you are a man, and all jokes aside, I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys, but when I lay at night, I like to talk to my girl. You know what I mean? And I like that support, and I can bounce ideas off of her. I might not take all of her ideas, but I'm sorry, as men, me personally, I think women can be part of the wolf pack. women, that's the family Wolfpack, and she not necessarily called her the leader.
Now you guys are moving the goalposts with a bunch of wolf. I'm getting a bunch of wolf packs.
I'm just being honest here.
I'm just saying a wolf pack in between your life. I know what he's doing.
Look, I love my fellas, but I have to have that balance from a woman. I'm just being honest truth. I need the balance. I don't need that testosterone. Sometimes I need a little bit of that. You said what?
You want to bounce ideas off of her, fine. But when you have a discussion with the wolf pack, you don't want no hyena on the side. You want to have the wolf pack, right? You have the hyena.
Hey, I don't know if that can be cleaned up. I don't think it can. But you know, what do you feel about that, Troy?
You can put us back on screen.
Yeah, hold up. Yeah.
You know, I listened to that whole thing, the whole 30 minutes, and I only listened to it because of my relationship with you. I got to 12 minutes, and I was like, man, this is painful. But I will say this. I think I might have told you this. I might have said it earlier, but Jesse Collins Entertainment is who produced the halftime Super Bowl show.
Okay.
That company, he assigns producers he did the Soul Train Awards, he did the Grammys. A black woman named Dion Harmon produced that show. Beautiful black woman, right? And say, can women be part of your wolf pack? If they're not a part of it, it's not working. You know what I'm saying? Especially in our community, women are integral to the operation of our organizations and our families.
Yep.
You know, and so I look at my own wife, and look, man, I've been married a long time, and you go through a whole bunch of seasons, right? And so, and one of those seasons is the season that's always present is us getting on each other's nerves. So I'm now act like it's like we skipping, holding hands and skipping down the beach, right? But as long as the respect and the reverence is there and the honor, we can figure out the rest. But let me just say this. I call my wife the MVP of this family because people look at me as, you know, all up in the videos, and she's very behind the scenes. And I just sent you another message. But let me tell you, we're older. And my wife is even older than me, so we come from a different set of social norms, right? So my wife didn't work the first 20 years of our marriage. You know, I had businesses, and some were successful, some were better than others. And she stayed home. She homeschooled our kids. She ran a nonprofit for young women for 10 years, right? And I remember the first time she went out of town for a week and left me with the kids to homeschool them. I couldn't wait to get back to work. You know, I knew how to do it, but it was just, you know, it was a lot of work. People think staying at home is easy, and it's not. So she did that. And so about year 15 or 16 into being at home, you know, I sat her down and said, listen, the kids are getting to be grown. Your husband is crazy and spontaneous. You know, you need to develop your own identity that works outside of me. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't. And so she decided she wanted to become a realtor. And be honest with you, I didn't think it was that great of an idea because she's not very social, right? But one thing my wife has is tenacity and drive, and she's very goal oriented. So she became social, and fast forward 6 years later, she's one of the top realtors in her office in the most bougie part of Dallas, doing multi-million-dollar deals, right? And I like to tell people and tell women that you can't have it all. You might just not have it all at the same time. So a lot of times when you get to that level as a black woman or a woman, you've had to forego family, forego having children. You've had to become very masculine and fight in this corporate world, right? But I will say this: without Tamara, in this family doesn't work as well as people have seen it. And I get a lot of credit for it. especially even on the music side, what I've done with my son. You know, my son's a professional musician, but what people don't understand is my music connect, my cousin, the talent comes from that side of the family. It's my wife's side of the family that are the best musicians in the world, right?
Yeah.
And so my son shares that bloodline, but most people think it's me because they see me out front and I'm a fan of the music. But I will say that, you know, from a standpoint of legacy in these 30 years we've been together, I was dope before I met her, and I'm gonna be dope, you know, if whoever lives longer. You know, I'm gonna be dope.
It's your
But
legacy secured.
yeah, but what she's been able to do is to come in and to see things and to implement things in the children that I wasn't very empathetic. I come up in the hood. She comes up, her parents were military, so they traveled the world. She's lived all over the world. So compassion, empathy, and things that are not taught in the hood that I didn't have in abundance, she instilled into the children. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so those things, the hood is good while you're in the hood, but there are some things that you need to release and let go of. And it took me a while to let go of those things. And having a woman who wasn't hood was very good for me, because she didn't understand certain things that I valued at the time that I realized were worthless. That are only celebrated among people who are locked in a cycle of poverty. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and so yeah, and so yeah, man, it's critical that you have the right woman, because the right woman can make you or break you, right? Either way. It's going to be either way. And sometimes you have to make a decision to choose to be in a, like my uncle says, to be with someone who supports your magnificence, because we're all magnificent. And if we can't be magnificent together, you need to go be magnificent somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Word. So I'm gonna let it run for a little bit and just see what the stopping point we get out of it. EJ dropping some of his personal experience and
bombs.
Yeah, and bombs. You know? All right, let me go ahead and let it run. Let's see where we at.
Yeah.
Tina comes at night when we're on the bed, honey. Let me hear you rant. But the Wolfpack is the Wolfpack. I'll bounce this off the hyena later. But what happened when the wolf get a hyena?
I'll let you talk, Antoine. You guys
are acting like you gotta be all this sensitive shit. No,
it's not about being sensitive. It's valid.
She's in a bedroom. She won't tell you what you want to hear. If she's in a bedroom, you can bounce ideas off. I'm talking about making moves and making advancement and doing shit and building shit. Okay, you make those decisions, you bounce it off her head at night. That's cool. But she can't be part of a Wolfpack. You bring your girlfriend around me when I'm having a meeting. Go, bro, seriously? Why'd you take you and your skirt and move over? No. No, I wear the pants in this house. Hey,
man, it's gonna be hard to clean up.
You got it, coach. You got it, coach.
You guys are thinking we wear a skirt.
Antoine, slow down. You didn't let him finish. Number one, you didn't let him finish explaining. And these are men of certain experience that all have something to offer. So let him finish explaining.
He's talking about it.
It's true. All things are true here.
The website that I have my girl with. So like it's used for everybody. Now every woman is not the same, but my girlfriend at the time, that's what she did. She built websites. So when I started my idea, she was like, let me build your website. I said no a million times. And then I finally let her do it, and all of a sudden, boom, my business started taking off. So I'm not sure. Everybody has different perspectives. But for me,
that's your specialty. Of course it's gonna. You got to put your air.
But I was bouncing my ideas off of her. She was like, hey, let me do this for you.
Of course, she's gonna build you a website. But what are you gonna talk to her after the website is doing other thing? Honey, my website needs this, A, B, and C. I design it. I create it. I make you do what's in your mind. I bring out what you have mentally.
But I ain't gonna talk to you after that. You're done. Your role is finished. When the website goes down, I'll come back to see Maxwell. Is that everyone communicates through connects? Hey, the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Hey, you got that one up there too? Okay, then. Hey, let me tell you something. My lady read this book and gave me the thumbs up before it went out. Because
let me pause it right there.
Where y'all find? How old is this dude, man?
He's 44, I think.
Like, do they have a camera in the federal pen or something? Is this guy like locked up somewhere?
Nah, he's out in LA.
Man. Okay.
I
mean, when I listen to him talk, it's like he was trained by an 80-year-old person who viewed women as property.
Yeah.
And who doesn't really understand it, how in the Black community, our women were the ones who were able to go into work. We're a threat, right? We're a threat. While now that I'm 54, I'm not viewed as a threat. Like, white America or America loves like a Muhammad Ali or Mandela, but they lock their ass up when they can still get their daughters pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so my wife could walk into spaces I can't walk into because of my look. When people see me, especially what you call unseasoned folk, they're scared because I have somewhat of a what we call that Suge Knight menacing look, right? And my wife could go in places and soften things up in places that I can't move in. You know what I mean?
Man, look, I've stated in the course of this video that women disarm rooms.
Yeah.
And the right woman disarm rooms, a combination of your status and, and then her own presence, makes you that much more respected.
Yes.
If it's done the right way,
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. And just listening to this, I try to listen, at this point, I'm at a point now. I think these kind of conversations are necessary that you guys had with this young man, just so people can see things unlocking. But yes. You remember like when I was your age, I used to have these long dissertations about not hitting your kids. Right.
Yep.
And I got vilified and I was like, listen, train them up in the way they should go. That's what y'all been preaching. Right. And conflict resolution and recovering from your childhood and all these things. And now, beat your kids if you want to beat them, because I got the results that I was looking for. My evidence is perfect. Or if you don't beat them, they'll put them in jail. Well, look, 85% of people in jail were beat, like you don't, I don't know what this mythical timeout was. Timeout don't work. We got to beat them. No, you don't, but I don't have those conversations publicly anymore because they don't benefit me in a way that makes any difference. But having a conversation with a young man like this is good for people who might see and think that way or lean that way and see that, wait a minute, man, there are 4 other brothers on here who are in and out of committed relationships that see the value or just the benefit of having feminine energy around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a homie who's single. He says sometimes, like, cause I ain't been single since 1990. Right. So I can't speak on any of that. Right. But I got a homie and we'll hang out and he'll be like, yeah, man, I just need some feminine energy. And I thought that meant he wanted to go somewhere and smash.
Yeah.
No, he just want to be in a room where there's not just a whole bunch of brothers sizing each other up, arm wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
He might get it at a grocery store. He might get it at a bowling alley. He just want to see women around. You know what I'm saying?
That's correct. I understand exactly. You know what I'm saying? What he's aiming at, because, you got to have some balance. When you're in your own box, it's perfect.
Right.
You can make everything is true in your world until it's not. So you got to come out of your world sometimes and see what everybody else is interacting with.
Right.
I'm going to play another couple of clips. I ain't going to hold you too long because.
No, I understand.
Yep.
Here's the thing. women in your Wolfpack hold your men accountable.
Yep.
Because men move off of women's approval.
Hey, pause it right there. Pause it right there. That's the only reason we get haircuts. You know what I'm saying? When we wasn't out, like people weren't getting haircuts in the pandemic, the barbers were suffering, right?
Yep.
But you know, to some level, we clean up and buy nice cars and nice things because you know for the approval of women. Like we're not doing that for the homies.
Nope.
Okay, you keep going. That was a bar right there.
Yeah. Oh, hey. All right, hang on.
Mm-hmm.
How many men here in a committed relationship? Men, even
Not right now. Not right now.
Oh, but not right now.
Look at Coach.
Garfield, I've made this guy. I know the work that he does that supports what you like. Right now, we're all here. All men that are in a relationship, we're here because our women add value to what we're doing to create space for what we're doing at a high level. And I'm saying that in my personal experience. So I know the men that can, like EJ's obviously in agreement with. You know what I'm saying? In my current operation, when I run my Airbnb stuff, guess what? My lady is better suited to host my Airbnbs and take better care of them than I am. I'm a creator. I go in, I create the space, I seize the opportunity, I do all of the networking. I go have steaks with snakes to get business done.
Again, there's nothing wrong with that.
What I'm saying is that at some level, she's better than me in some areas.
Yeah, but you started it.
So I have to respect the value that she adds by communicating to her with a certain type of transparency that
it's called a business.
and it's about business.
It's called.
Hey, Coach, you gotta clean that up.
You started it. You started it. You built it, and then you said, "Honey, I think you're capable of running it." You get paid every 2 weeks.
She told me you can do it better than I could, and I had to listen.
If it's not her, you're gonna hire somebody else. She just happens to be able to do it. So, honey, I'll call you every 2 weeks. You're gonna get a paycheck.
What do you tell your woman about anything?
What?
What do you tell your woman about anything?
I
told you to stay in the truck.
Listen, I had an ex-girlfriend. I told her about my heart. I said, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? I'm bouncing it off her. Not that you did any shit that came out of her mouth, but I listened. And I said here, I said there. Okay, cool. And I went about my business. But hell no, she's not gonna tell me how to draw, where to draw.
No, it's not about that. No, it's about improving what you have, like the next
Improve me. I put my best out. I had this before her, and I have this after.
You're mixing the complete context of what we're talking about. Coach is gonna come in and take a stab at it, and but before we move on to coaches, you know what I'm saying? Point, because this is a conversation that needs to be had in the open right now. You know?
Yeah.
You see how valuable it is, and why I was pressing why we needed to watch it though.
Yeah. You know, it's you know, like the energy that we've put into these things in the past, you know, when we're kind of in it, in the space, you know, it helps kind of unpack, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I notice about men that's different than women, if someone like you is speaking to a group of women, they're taking that information in and then seeing what they're going to do with it, right?
Yeah.
Whether they're going to accept it or not. But when you talk to men, especially men like he is committed to his position. He is trying to remain consistent with the words that come out of his mouth, because I watched the whole thing and I watched EJ or Coach trip him up. And every time they tripped him up, and I watched you trip him up in the last broadcast, he has to come back and move the line. You know what I'm saying? So he's not here to learn or observe or to intake new information. So in a scenario like this, one thing I've learned is in a room like this, I would probably be the quiet one, because I'm really trying to hear, because I really was listening. And there was a couple things he said that I understood, like the artistry part, you know, like, hey, look, when I close that door, you know, I'm in a different world, you know, respect that boundary. And what I call being considerate, you know, like for me, like first thing in the morning, my wife gets up and she has a prayer group, and she gets on the phone from 6 a.m. to 6:45 or even 7. And I leave the room or she leaves the room, and I don't bother her because she's talking about the things that are important to her. And at that same time, around that time, I come in my office, and me and my dog, we go outside, he do his business. I have a coffee, and I don't want anything heavy at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you've lived with someone for a long time, sometimes the best thing is a little distance or a little separation. And I understood where he was trying to go with that, but he was committed to his ignorance. And I think I've heard you say something like, you're no longer talking to people who don't have their hand raised. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I don't give advice to people that don't have their hand raised because they're not ready to listen. So and the platform, the nature of this platform is called elevated dialogue. See, it's about the frequency of the discussion. You know what I'm saying?
You hit it right on the head, dog. And that's what I like about being around men. Like even when we were in house sports where we met, it's because we can have fierce debate and conflict and still go have a beer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And most of my friendships that last a long time have survived conflict. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so no, I get the importance of it. I really do. It's just that that's the space that you guys have chosen to participate in. I might participate in a different space. But that dude there, so where I come up, we'd have these conversations in person. You got to be able to, the threat of violence is what keeps us in line.
Absolutely.
But you got to be able to fight.
Man, look, I say this all the time. Your situational awareness as a man is what keeps you alive.
Yes.
Because like we automatically default to protecting everybody else but ourselves. We inherently know that it's a big chance that we might get into it with somebody at the supermarket, gas station, or whatever. Right. Even if it never materializes, and even if it never materializes, you got to think the culture that our generation of men was raised in. We grew up on the Spike Lee do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? You step on the wrong shoe.
Yeah.
It might be, you know what I'm saying, a super negative outcome, just like
hey, look, we were in a barbershop having an elevated conversation, and one dude called another dude a bitch.
Yeah.
And everything stopped.
Everything stopped.
Look, man, I ain't gonna be too many more than bitches. Like he just like stopped, and everybody, and then dude apologized, and then we got back to it. It took the guy who was the recipient of the word a few minutes to get back into the conversation. But the threat of danger, the threat of violence, that's why I think it's missing, man. We go all the way. I think what's missing from these young men is, 80% of school teachers are women. Mm-hmm. And most of those are white women, right? Yeah. So they removed horseplay and unstructured play. Recess was about unstructured play. It was about life. Life is about unstructured play, right? And so these cats don't know how to slap box. They don't know how to hit each other.
To add on to that, life is algebra because algebra is problem solving.
Yes,
you
got to be able to solve the problem yourself. But if the teachers always solve them, they remove, and now they want fairness. So now they got schools where you jump rope with no rope, or they took dodgeball out. You know what I'm saying? Dodgeball and tetherball was how you got payback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't wait to see you at
talk that shit when I get you in front of this wall. And if you was good at tetherball, you know how to do that no look pass like Matthew Stafford and hit somebody in the face. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Look, I was the pillow fight king of A-Bay in my basic training. So people I had a problem with, I call them out, man. Pillow fight A-Bay. When all the sergeants leave.
Yeah. You got to find a way to deal with it.
You got to find a way to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with it. So now what do? They default to shooting each other because they can't fight. Because they can't. My horseplay and slap boxing with my bigger cousins prepared me for having to fight that bully at school, or having that bully know that I was not I wasn't an easy win. I may not win, but I was not going to lay down.
Yep. man, look, I'm gonna let Coach Dwayne Dwyer clean this up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you know, my man Antoine's got it going right now. So
Yes, he do.
Try to balance things out. Let's see what Coach had to say.
Gotcha.
Hey, Coach is on
Yeah,
here.
because I agree with all these brothers and Antoine. And I just want to just consider what I'm about to say, right? We are all, yes, we are all interconnected in some shape, form, or fashion, whether we want to believe it or not. We can be independent, but we're also interdependent as well. So there are facets of a man that the Wolfpack can't cater to. Let's go back into history, right? The biggest and the strongest was generally the leader of the tribe. So the biggest and the strongest got what? First meat, first man. That was his dad. And they wanted to keep him healthy so that he can go out and fight. Same thing with the Wolfpack, brother. We come together as men and we're going to endure everything that we deal with as men. You know, the Wolfpack is going to take care of one another. But when the man goes home, when they go home, there's a certain type of catering that happens. There's a certain type of atmosphere, there's a calmness, there's an interconnection that provides stability on a mental, a physical, and an emotional level. That keeps that person whole and healthy so that he can be better for the Wolfpack.
That's right. You have to cook and make sure you're good.
It's more than that, bro.
I don't know. You said it right there. Oh, I'm not talking about hope.
Well, it's balance. You need, not necessarily, I don't want to say need, because I don't want to send you off the
No, I don't but home is home. Home is home.
balance. A woman brings balance.
No, I
can't
don't.
do
No.
You get it, brother. For these brothers that's in committed relationship, home for them is here.
Yeah.
When I say home, we quick to go to this, right? And that's true. But for the person in a committed relationship, this is home. Because if that relationship falls into shambles, that person is not whole for a while until they recover. So when I say they go home, and then this here is connected, right? So they have those conversations, like Brother EJ says, you bounce ideas off his old lady, right? Well, not just that, not just that. He may have some ideas that he wants to run by her. That's that balance that he is looking for, that exchange.
I'm okay with that. That's the balance I'm okay with.
However, what I'm telling you.
The minute you start saying she has influence, that's when I know you are nuts.
Well, no, they're not. Trust me. I haven't seen any of your work. I really would like to see it.
Right there. Have you ever seen 300?
Huh?
Have you ever seen 300?
Watch this, Troy.
You remember when Leonidas looked back? Didn't he get his queen's approval before he kicked the old boy into that room?
He did.
He's a method of restraint. When in the room, they go in and they disarm. Do you know that in a pride of lions, who does all the hunting? Well, first of all, you only kick them into the thing because you disrespected his wife. Right? No, you gotta go back and watch it again. He was already ready to kill. No, he was already ready to kill that guy when he showed up. No, he looked back at this. Hey, I mean, like you can go to the semantics all you want to. I know as a proven thing that my queen has disarmed many a room in red rooms where I can see certain behavior and told me how to move without necessarily telling me, but telling me who I need to pay attention to. She validated some things that I was concerned about. You know what I'm saying? No. Well, I'm not serious with that.
No, that's fine. I'm just curious. So you're talking to some brothers. Brother EJ, you've been married before? Or you married?
I've never been married.
You've been married, but you're in a long-term committed relationship right now.
I've been, no, not right now.
Okay. Okay. So I can tell you for me, you're speaking, when I speak from the perspective of my understanding of my responsibility in my failed marriage and all of this when it comes down to the training and all that great stuff. When these brothers speak, they speak based upon theirs as well. So what we're doing is, we're speaking from our learned experiences and going back and considering where we were in error. Not so much as where they were in error. And I think that's what a lot of people, right? They go into the wrong direction because we talk about what that person did, what that person did, what that person did. I'm gonna tell you what I did, right? And that was my point to where I learned my lesson. And one of the things I now understand is that when it comes down to a relationship, people like to use the term completely. That's not a true statement, right? But they balance us out. So I can be high strung, she may be down here. You see what I'm saying? She may come home full of piss and vinegar, pardon my French. She may be all the way up here, and I'll be the one that helps her come down here because I'm speaking on a reason. When we talk about can she be a part of a wolf pack, it's not that she's part of the core nucleus. She is the balance for one of the wolves in the wolf pack. That's all we're saying.
I would tell every young man, never love a woman enough that when she leaves, you'll be hurt. Love her enough that you can still get up and do that shit. Love her enough that you can still function if she leaves. And it's the same way you're gonna walk into and walk out.
Hey man, I know this dude ain't got no woman.
Hey, look, I had to.
Yo,
it's a train wreck, bro. You have to let him talk sometimes, and and let him get it out, because it's unbelievable,
And Cass on the comment, she hit it right on the head. Man, it's this dude is, and I don't even like saying this, but he got rolled hard and hung up wet.
Whew. Oh man, but it was a rough thing, you know what I'm saying? But like, people don't even need to watch the whole video. You know what I'm saying? I want them to, but like, as far as
now, out of everybody's approach, I love your approach. Coach has that, let's get to a solution. You like to jab and hook. You know what I'm saying? With a smile. And it's funny how you walk people into things. But that's been your nature. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're gonna live inside of your intelligence, we're gonna have a party with your ignorance. I'm sorry. If you want to live inside your ignorance, we're gonna turn it into a party.
Yeah. Cause like we can learn from everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's always somebody out there that creates opportunities for intellectual engagement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It used to be the one I used to really love engaging with is the religious community. Until I found out that no matter what, they're gonna hold to what they held to. And the one who would always say, "Well, God took me off crack." I was like, "Well, who put you on crack, nigga?"
Man, look,
which one is it?
Man, look, I'm gonna lighten the mood up a little bit, right?
All right.
I'm gonna play this video right here that I look for a spot on Black History today. You know what I'm saying?
Black History Month.
Yeah. So this is a funny video. Somebody getting smacked up somewhere in South Carolina for using the N-word. You know what I'm saying? And it was an unseasoned individual. You know what I'm saying? That they met the hands of the ancestors today. So I'm just gonna play the video. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna have a discussion about this. Let me run it back. Hang on.
Hit that full. You can hit the full right there, those arrows.
Oh yeah. I hate when they want to load and play games with my emotions. You know what I'm saying? But let me see. Let me get it to pause and see if it'll load back up.
Well, while you loading that, I'll just say that my dad moved to California from. Go ahead. Oh, is it running?
I don't think so yet. Go ahead.
My dad moved from California, from Jasper, Alabama, when he was 17. And he said the number one thing that he loved about California was that you can, when white folks said something crazy to him, you could pop them in the mouth. And because they didn't have the Jim Crow systems in place, because he was ran out of town. He didn't move out. He sat inside at a pharmacy getting his grandma's medicine, and the police called and said that that nigga better be out of town by sundown. So they snuck him out, put him on a bus to Chicago, from Chicago to LA. But he realized out in California it was equal rights and lefts.
Yeah. Man, look, and we got a great example. What a great segue. I like that, Troy.
Yeah.
You got to come on here more often, man. Well, you can hear the the slew of slaps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's taking place. Maybe if I make the video a little bit smaller, maybe we can, you know what I'm saying? We get a better visual of it or something. I'm gonna put it down the bottom right hand screen, and man, it's not playing ball with us. But needless to say, boy, hit him with the Nat Turner special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to slapping on him and letting him know that here in Wakanda, especially in February, we're not playing no games with you. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to bring that full circle to talk about keeping your words in line with your hands. So yeah, like when I get ready to get to a different spot, I'll be definitely hooked to an Ethernet.
Yeah.
You know, so I have more stable signal. But we were
It's
doing
funny because the show I did today was unstable, but I carry a 100-foot Ethernet cable everywhere I go.
Man, look, as I start getting a little bit better at this thing and transporting and logistics, I already know it's coming. You know what I'm saying?
And look, it was strung across the flow. And look, it was only about 5 foot long enough because I had to go all the way through his office and everything. But yeah, that Ethernet is a critical piece. That Ethernet staycation.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, look, I'm in the B&B on the other side right now, which is kind of like a full circle thing because I know we discussed you coming down here very soon and coming to visit, you know.
Right.
And this time you come down, you'll be set up on the other side, you know. So you'll get a chance to see apartment 8. So it's kind of been like a full circle.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. And
well, look, man, it has been fun hanging out with you on this evening. I got a couple of things I got to do.
All right, man.
Let's see if we get any more comments.
Nah, man. You want to leave the people with some closing thoughts, man, before I let you get out of here?
Yeah. You know, if we're going to talk about moving forward in our community, we have to keep. We have to rebuild the Black family, and I know there's a lot of talk. A lot of he said, she said, and there's a lot of problems. And, you know, even my own daughters, I have daughters 27 and 34 who are unmarried, no kids. And partially, you know, my youngest daughter said it is like, this is the first generation of woman who has to like her mate. Like before, marriage wasn't based on love or like, it was based on security. My mother couldn't sign a lease. She had to leave her father's house and go to her husband's house. Mm-hmm. Right. But those rules no longer apply.
Right.
And so we're going to have to figure out and put legacy and facts over feelings. So, you know, just keep it. If I can keep it a buck here,
always,
I have to remove my emotions from some of the things that I go through as a married man. And I have to recast it and say what I'm upset about or what I'm feeling about or what I'm emotional about. Will it be important to me 5 years from now?
Man.
Right. And now I've moved that line from 5 to 50. Right. Because 50 years from now, when, you know, my children's children are hearing the stories of Grandpa Troy and Grandma Tamara, that's all that's going to be important. Right. And one of my heroes, and it's going to sound strange, in this space is a white woman. Her name is Hillary Clinton. Okay. She knew she wanted to be president of the United States, right? She wasn't going to let Bill's dick change that. And so when her husband got head in the White House, you know, she didn't blow it up, right? She said she had no idea Obama was coming down the track. She had no idea Trump. She was in line to finish her life goal, which is to become the first woman president of the United States. And had she left Bill, it would have fucked the whole plan up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just the emotional intelligence. And I'm not saying that I agree that what he did, but I am saying is that there are things that are more important than things that happen in a relationship, right? And so since most of our sons are being raised in primarily by their mother, and their dad is the federal government, it's very hard to bring a man back into the house because it's expensive. And if you're not in a position like myself or like you, where you've put yourself in position to care for a family, it's hard to rebuild that when falling in love will cost you your Section 8, right? Falling in love will cost you your daycare and your $1,000 worth of food stamps, right? I remember when times was lean for me, man, and I go in there and I see the poor people with two carts of groceries, and I got $20 for the weekend, and I'm getting staples. I'm getting beans, rice, sausage, things that I can make 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 meals from. But I refuse to become part of the welfare system because I know my hustle would teach me how to maximize that system. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so what I'm saying is the key to success now, because they can't just kill us like they did in Tulsa, Black Wall Street. They can't do that anymore. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's too many cameras around. So yes, they tore down. Whenever we come up, they tear it down. But until we build a Black family, we're gonna always be in position to lose. So,
man, look, it's been a pleasure having you on, brother. Man, whenever you got some time, you know what I'm saying, I'd love to have you back on and like try to do this on a little bit more of a frequent basis. Great balance, great input as usual. It's no different than our phone calls, man. So,
hey, man, tell me this is like a regular phone call.
It really is. It really is. So, man, look, I'll chop it up with you. You know what I'm saying, and we're gonna go forward. We're gonna take this energy.
Peace out. We out. Take care, man.
All right, you too. Yeah, that was my brother Troy right there. So we're getting ready to get down to the closing part of the show, and I want to highlight my brother Larue Bratcher and his situation dealing with being accused, being charged with murder as recently downgraded to a 2nd degree. So, like, let me read this for you, okay? This was posted on February 11th and hasn't been updated since, but I'm going to try to keep it in the media as much as I can from my own channel because it's my brother. This is a story about a man protecting his property and his license lapse to his marijuana grow. And they tried to compound the fact that he had to kill a man that was breaking into his property and basically saying he was running an illegal operation. Now, if you make this about any other situation with dealing with a license, you don't automatically just get, like, if your driver's license expire, are you no longer you? So I look at this the same way, and they try to remove his ability to use the castle law to his advantage because his license expired. They would say that he was in the act of committing another crime. So I'm just going to read the article and let it go from there. Okay. Oklahoma City. The case against Oklahoma City man for shooting a suspected burglar is moving forward. It's been nearly 2 years since police say Larue Bratcher shot and killed a man trying to break into his marijuana grow business in Oklahoma City. The Army veteran, husband, and father was later charged with 1st-degree murder. After Friday afternoon's hearing, that charge has been dropped to 2nd-degree murder. We simply believe that we are all here because we're asking for justice for him, said Dr. J.A. Reed, pastor of Fairview Missionary Baptist Church, and a supporter of Bratcher who attended the hearing. This is a waste of Oklahoma County taxpayers' money, said Pastor Derek Scobie, pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church and a supporter of Bratcher, who also attended the hearing. Supporters of Bratcher showed up in droves Friday at the hearing that moved the trial that was originally scheduled for the end of February. We're going to continue to fight for Larue until he's free, said J.B. Williams, a supporter of Bratcher in attendance at the hearing. And here's a picture of my brother right here. Okay. In May of 2020, Bratcher was arrested for shooting and killing Daniel Hardwick. Bratcher claims he was trying to break into his marijuana grow business on the night of the shooting. At the time, Bratcher told police he saw Hardwick on camera coming through a hole in the gate and then heard him at the back door. Bratcher told police he asked him what he was doing. Then he fired 3 shots through the door to scare him. He found Harwood dead on the other side. Supporters said Bratcher was just standing his ground, including the author of Oklahoma's Stand Your Ground law and current Oklahoma County Commissioner Kevin Calvi, who says Bratcher shouldn't be charged at all. There's not right versus left. Calvi said it's right versus wrong. Let's see here. The state, though, argues Bratcher's license to grow marijuana had lapsed, making it an illegal grow operation. So they're saying because his license lapsed, it went from a legal grow to an illegal grow. That is a felony in Oklahoma. Prosecutors said Bratcher was technically committing a felony at the time of the shooting. Second Amendment attorney Robert Robles said stand your ground law does not apply. You will not be allowed to get the protection of the Castle Doctrine, which gives you the presumption under a series of facts that you are in fear of your life or in fear of being seriously injured by the opposing party, Robles said. If that's true, then what if somebody's in their car and they have let their driver's license expire or their car tag or liability insurance? Does that mean someone can go carjack them and they have no right to defend themselves? So Robles said that because Bratcher didn't know exactly what was on the other side of the door, that indifference could be grounds for second-degree murder charge. There's no specific intent to kill a person, but you don't care about the consequences, Robles said. It would be similar to shooting at a passing train. Robles is reaching, okay? Reaching big time, you know. While not objecting, the state voiced concerns about the delay of the trial. Calvi is running for district attorney this year, and the state claims Calvi said he would dismiss the charges if he won. This has nothing to do with any election, anything like that, Calvi said. I'm here solely in my role as the author of the Stand Your Ground law. So in that role, I believe that the Stand Your Ground law does provide protection to Larue Bratcher that would for any other Oklahoman. Okay. False narrative being pushed. District Attorney David Prater sent a statement about the situation that can be read in full below. The false narrative being pushed by the defendant's supporters is completely inconsistent with the facts of the case. The true facts will be presented upon in open court at trial. I welcome anyone interested in the truth to observe the trial. They can make their own determination as to what happened. Well, I will say this is asinine. The story itself is blown out of proportion. It has nothing but toxic energy associated with it, and we want to make sure that it gets the right kind of visibility. So I'm gonna drop the link in the comments down here, and I'd love for you guys to go out and make other people aware of it, and you know, keep this man in your prayers for those of you that pray, and think about his family and the fact that he's an Army veteran and the fact that he did everything right with the exception of an administrative issue. So this could happen to anybody. So I just want to keep that in mind. All right. So as I'm getting close to the end of the show, there's a couple of things that I did this week. I've been whale watching, and National Geographic has the secrets of the whales on their website, on the app, whatever, on the Disney Plus app. And the first video, or the first, I guess, episode of the whale series talked about orcas. Orcas are like my spirit animal, you know. And right after I watched that episode, you know, where it talked about the culture of the orca and how they hunt, train, and work in pods and stuff like that. Then I went back in time and I watched Blackfish. If you have never seen Blackfish before, it's a story of an orca that's killed a whole bunch of people that people just swept under the rug, and they just shipped him around until he wound up, you know, killing the right person at SeaWorld, and they couldn't ignore it anymore. But I encourage you to watch it because you can learn a lot from animals because they communicate better than we do, and they speak a language and they speak in code. They really do speak in code. And I encourage you to watch something that's outside of your wheelhouse. That way you can have a different view of what peace and conflict resolution looks like, what it looks like to work together. So, you know, I definitely encourage you to take those links that's in the caption, bookmark those, and hey man, look, if some point down the line we can have a discussion about it. You know, matter of fact, I'd like to give out some homework. You know what I'm saying? Everybody watch that, and then let's get back and cut in touch with one another and see what you thought about it, because there's an underlying message in both of those things, both of those videos, that I want you to extract from it on your own, as much as possible. I do have something I want you to get out of it. Like, let's see, if you want to see non-Black people casually explain the slave trade without their own awareness, watch these 2 videos. Trust me. So let's see what else I got on here. I think we're pretty much down towards the end of the list of the show. And I want to read something out of the book, The Code, before I let you guys go. And you know what I'm saying? I was listening to Troy talking about poverty. And in the book, I wrote about intellectual poverty. So intellectual poverty exists in multiple areas. Intellectual poverty occurs when a person receives new information to perform a traditional task efficiently, but chooses a familiar but inefficient method to perform that same task based on comfort. Intellectual property is enabled by all of the aforementioned variations of poverty in the preceding text, and it compounds. So before this, I wrote about generational poverty and emotional poverty. So intellectual poverty coupled with emotional poverty create a push-pull struggle of making choices that tug at the fiber between head and heart. The mind wants what the heart can't have is a phrase that best encompasses that line of thought. That phrase is also a cliche explanation and description of behavior displayed by people that are incapable of making the hard right decision. Ultimately, people that exhibit this behavior frequently settle for familiar chaos and discomfort. If it sounds familiar because you know a person that functions this way and you can call them a friend to some extent, it is up to you to determine the application of your relationship with this type of person. If this description sounds familiar because you display this behavior and you've been called out for it by people close to you, then you have to decide if you want to improve for yourself and those around you. Otherwise, you're truly self-centered and incapable of adding value to others around you based on your individual toxicity. Regardless of what side of the description you fall on, the best apology is change behavior. We're judged on who we are by what we do and the frequency in which we do it. That's why it's important to do better once we know better. If a person becomes self-aware of their enabling destructive behavior and chooses to continue on a path of negligence, then they have voluntarily confined themselves to the realm of intellectual poverty. Basically, that's breaking down to if you know better, do better. You know, that's my take on it. And once you receive new information, it takes more than just knowing it. You have to apply it, and that's where the change behavior comes in. So, you guys are interested in more of this type of commentary and dialogue, contact me directly, and I'll get you an autographed copy of my book, and we can go from there. Until then, you know, I want you guys to stay motivated, stay dedicated to being a better version of yourself, and don't get derailed by distractions. You know, there's an opportunity to apply your own code to anything. If it makes you a better person, great. But if it makes you think you're better than other people, then that's where we have a problem. That's not code. So with that being said, let me get out of here. I appreciate y'all joining me. Look forward to the feedback. Share this, like and subscribe. And, you know, I look forward to interacting with you guys again on social media. And, you know, hey, until that time, hey, find some code.
No KMG. Right, yeah. That nigga, you know, talk that shit, that nigga. Y'all ain't say about the cold, nigga. Don't lock up, nigga. Y'all ain't say about the cold, nigga. He's holding got no cup. 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 Shoot, top, shoot. I can cop the rope. I can pop the coke. Met her off the hook. No, I'm not a hook. But you don't know. Yeah, I'm just a G. Yeah, I'm Baby Joe. Now from LA. But a trill step. Diamonds in my breath. Diamonds in my breath. I deserve a medal. I can carry metal. Carry metal. Bury you with devil. They ain't got a code. Wonder why he told. Wonder why he told. Cause they ain't got a code. They hating out the box. When I see you, you gon' box. I ain't gon' say shit like ox. Nigga, I'm a ox. Quick like a box. But I ain't even said shit. My girl on a mozzarella. I'ma get the bread sticks. Nigga, I'm a red. Yeah, I got a red nose. Got me fucked up. I stay by the fucking code. That's that cold shit. That's that cold shit. That's that cold shit with the beat.